Hey there, hope you're having a lovely day. I wanted to come on today and talk to you guys about manifesting in a way of creating new habits and really doing something consecutive enough so that it just becomes part of your life and part of a routine. Because I found this was another big thing that really just helped me step into my creating potential and helped me realize like how powerful I really am. And so I wanted to share that with you guys because obviously I hope you all the best and want you guys to all be able to manifest your dreams. So, for some of you, you might know my opinion. I believe in like the law of attraction and the law of assumption, the belief that whatever we're thinking about or feeling in our emotions or like the mood that we're um, currently in, it's helping attract more like things to that feeling or to those thoughts. And I believe we're constantly all manifestors. I don't think it's something that you have to just, work towards to becoming. I think we're already 100% amazing and creating and manifesting with every second that we're living. It's just the thing that you can do is be more of an alchemist and start to be aware of your thoughts and aware of your moods so that you can choose moods and thoughts that are going to attract more of the things that you actually want to call into your life. And with that little tangent, I think that's why positive thinking is so commonly written about and talked about as this like amazing power tool, and just like programming your subconscious and having more of a positive outlook and being more optimistic in life. A lot of people that are more optimistic, sure, I guess like they're living less in fear, so they're more likely to take bigger moves in their life, and they're more likely probably to not be afraid to kind of go out of their comfort zone to go after what they want. But I think just having a positive mindset to seeing things always and hoping for the best, or to looking at what the positive thing could be, the best case situation, or compared to having fear in the worst case situation, one is crippling and one just makes you want to almost not have action and want to be like stagnant. Whereas when you're confirming positive affirmations and you have a positive outlook, or you're more optimistic, you're just bound to go after what it is you want in life because you have a positive thought around it. And I think I was really fortunate and really lucky to grow up with parents that really supported me and formed, an optimistic mindset. And even when I would fail something, or maybe I wasn't happy with like the results or playing sports, you lose and stuff, my parents were always really like good sports and were like, that's part of it, like you're stronger, you learned this, like you gave it your all. They were really encouraging. And I was really lucky to not have the opposite. I know that everybody grows up in different households. I just seen 3 on the clock. So that's all about, to me, when you align your spirit, mind, and soul. But it can also be like that extra support. I think of like a tripod. So maybe like having extra support, that also is just really beneficial for manifesting. And that's what I kind of want to talk about is like, if you don't have parents or family or friends or people around you that are supporting you, you really have to be that optimistic support cheerleader for your own life, for your own self, because you can't really expect anyone else to do it. And it's easy to get in like the poor me, being bummed out that life's so hard. But like, you're choosing that at the end of the day to have that mindset. You can start to choose a mindset that's the opposite, and it's going to benefit you in so many ways, of just seeing all the little bumps and the inconveniences or the things in life that aren't good as just what they are, as obstacles and just a part of the grand scheme of life. And I really think that when we become our own cheerleader, or we're like really, you know, talking gentle to ourselves, or like treating ourselves as if we're almost a child. Like, you would, if you weren't treated good, hopefully you'd learned and you know that you want to treat your own child or other kids, you know, like, and be sweet to them and let them know that like failing isn't the end of the world. Like, any setbacks aren't bad setbacks. And that's one thing that I think really helped me to be able to go through and manifest a lot of stuff in life, because even when I did fail or when I did have setbacks, I just kept pushing and I was just very adamant. One thing that I really stands out for me and I think about often is I went to school for interior design, and I graduated with a whole class of people, and only three of us went on to get a career in interior design and do it. And then only two of us were still doing it recently. And to me, that's crazy, because there's like 30 people, or I think maybe some dropped out along the way. I graduated with like 20 some people. But anyways, so like all these people go to school, and then it was really hard when I finished school to find a job. I remember applying to like 20 places and hearing nothing back, and I was just so discouraged. I had moved to a bigger city because I went to school in a smaller city. I moved to a big city with over 1 million people, and I was like, I am determined to do this. And I just kept going, and I would get a little bit of advice like, oh, you need to have more actual current portfolio. You need to have worked at like a smaller place first, or, you know, like you get little bits. But I was not taking it. I was like, I'm just going to keep going. Like, I'm going to work in a design firm. I'm not going to go work at Home Depot. Not that there's anything wrong with that method. That just wasn't what was resonating for me at that time, because I had this encouraging, you know, optimism. And I just kept going, and I finally just surrendered, and I said, I think I had handed out 40 resumes, and like I was just defeated and exhausted. And I remember I was just kind of surrendered it, and I just said, I believe I'm going to do this. I don't know how, but it's just going to happen. And then I actually got contacted through a friend, a friend knew owned this company. I thought this guy wanted to take me on a date. He's like, oh, I heard you're an interior designer. I had only met him one time in crossing out at like a bar. I was young at this age. I don't go to bars anymore, or drink at least. But anyway, so I met this dude, and he ended up being one of the best things. It was like the perfect dream job to get me in an actual design firm and learning so much knowledge, and just, it was just like a dream come true. And then every job after that, it just was almost the exact same way. Like, I didn't have to apply for it, and things just unraveled, because I had this like faith in this, what was going to happen in my life, that I wasn't going to give up and it didn't matter. And I think that having positive mindset for yourself and confirming positive thoughts is so crucial, and especially in today's world, because there's a lot of negative stuff that we're shown. And now it's not just the news, you know, everyone has a phone, and no matter what, you're going to see media, if you're on any social media, that, you know, can be a little bit depressing and can kind of get your mood down, or can feel defeating. Even just talking about economics or politics or the economy, and like, there's not so much positive talk about what's going on in the world. And I find like, if you start to soak that in too much, it can become your own reality, and you can make excuses for yourself, and you can start telling yourself, like, confirming why something won't happen for you. And I really think that manifesting what you want and really getting your dreams comes down to deciding for yourself what you're going to filter and what you're going to put in your mind, and what stories you're going to tell yourself. Are you going to have a positive outlook on life? Are you going to let that little negative Nancy, you know, naysayer in the back of your head keep calling you down? Because like, everyone has that. I've had that, and I do feel pretty optimistic, but we all have our struggles in different areas of our life. And those little voices and the little negative Nancy back there, we'll call her, sorry if your name's Nancy. That's an awful thing. I feel sorry for you, because Nancy's actually a very beautiful name. Sounds like fancy. But anyways, you know what I'm saying. Those little voices that tell you and cut you down, it's just not, it's not the most ideal thing. And it's really not going to get you anywhere, especially when you're wanting to manifest your dream life, because it's giving you fear and fuel for the opposite of what you're really wanting to go for. So I just think it's really important to embrace the positivity. And if you have to create routines around this, I think it's like really important to really getting, you know, that positive mindset on dial. And it doesn't happen overnight, and that's where the routine thing is like you have to make it a routine so that it becomes second nature. You don't just get a positive mindset, or you're not optimistic, and you're not stuck with being pessimistic or having, you know, even dark thoughts or different things, or, you know, you're not that person. You get to choose whatever you want to think. And it's like anything, it's a muscle, and it takes time to actually build it and work into having a new routine about it. And I do think that's why journaling and affirmations, or having a vision board, or these other manifestation tools work, because they do create a type of routine where you're actually making intention to set out and rewire and retrain the brain. And I mean, there's some different techniques. I've seen people doing like elastic bands. They put an elastic band on your wrist, and every time that you have a complaint or a negative thought, you can choose whatever you're trying to rechange. Or maybe it's just that fear that you have, like really bad anxiety. You know, whenever that comes up, a person can just like snap an elastic, and it kind of just like is that action of being like, nope, snap out of it. Like, we're gonna not think that way today. And anything that you can do that helps you create more of a routine of actually just practicing, catching yourself, being aware, you know, and retraining the thoughts into ones that are going to serve you and are going to really uplift your life. And sometimes we get paralyzed in a certain inaction because we have so much anxiety, or so much fear, or so much sadness, or so much of one emotion, that it really makes it like comfortable, and it can feel like safe feeling like you're sad, or taking on these archetypes, kind of like just blaming your anxiety on why you're not going to be able to do something, or, you know, using it as like a little bit of a scapegoat to why you're not achieving your dreams. But when then it makes you think like, oh well, I do actually want that. And I really believe anyone can overcome anything that I've seen it with myself, I've seen it with other people. Like, I really believe that no matter where you're at in your life, you can make a change. It's not going to happen overnight. It's this being consistent, showing up for yourself in whatever way that is. And I wish I could tell you which way that is, because it would be super easy, or way easier for you if I could just pinpoint and tell you. But every person's so different in the way that you have to show up for yourself. And you really just have to keep asking yourself, if there's one thing that I can do today that would be better for my life, or if there's one way of thinking that I could do that would be better for my life, like what is it? And just working each day on that one thing, making it a new project. Like, this is one thing that I really struggled with, was body image. And I've been skinny my whole life, which I'm very fortunate. But I felt like after I did like runway modeling and modeling, I had still almost body dysmorphia, or a little bit, but I would cut myself down so bad on like the tiniest thing, or I'm bloated like that time of the month, or like my jeans would fit tight only for a few days, and I'd just be calling myself fat, saying no one will love me, that I'm ugly. Like, I was so bad. Like, it is actually insane what went through my head. And I also judged other people because I was doing that. I judged myself the worst, but I also judged other people because I had just been trained that I had to fit in this cookie cutter size thing, and that was like what was acceptable. And it's actually crazy, because the amount that it came up for me when I realized I was doing this, I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is awful." Like, I would never say this out loud to any friend. I would never even think they're that fat. You know, like, I would never think in a negative way in that way that I was talking to myself, and I think a lot of people do this, like, we're the hardest on ourselves, and there's no need. That's not gonna fix anything, that's not gonna help any situation, and when I started to actually become aware of it, it took me probably, like, 3 months till I would not say anything in my head about how I looked or be in a negative state. And for a few months, I literally did not even look in a mirror. I remember being in India and covering one of the mirrors in my hotel and just saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, it makes me say bad things. I don't care. I'm going to brush my teeth and hope there's nothing in them. I'm just going to comb my hair and it's going to look frizzy. But I didn't know anyone in India, so it didn't really matter. And bit by bit, I just started to not think that way. And then I actually started to feel so much better when I would see myself. I'd be like, oh, like, you know, and then I started to be able to say nice things to myself. And then I just started to see everyone so much more beautiful. And I started to like appreciate people that were obese, that, you know, were loving their body. It was like I was looking up to them, being like, you're my role model. Like, I could see some people obviously insecure how I was before, but then I could see other people that had these like bodacious, big, curvy bodies, and they were just like rocking it, loving it, and being so secure. And before I would have been like, oh my God, like, you know, don't show that much skin, or like, it's just crazy. But I feel like anyone can train any thought. It takes persistence, and it takes time, and it's repetition, and creating either a ritual or intention day by day to make the change happen. But once you make this change, it's going to not just spill over in the one thing that you're changing, it's going to spill over in so many things. Like for me, being more positive about how I looked just made me feel way more confident, and it made me way more magnetic and approachable from people. And it really helps me feel like a sense of love and acceptance for everyone, because I realized we all have our own struggles about, you know, how we may appear, and also made me appreciate other people that felt more empowered. Like, it just opened up so much from that one thing that I never thought could happen. I just was setting out to change my one thought, but it really affected so many other areas in my life. And I think with like work and approaching people and just so many things. So I feel like the key to really making manifestations and other things happen is just repetition and focusing not on a million different things, but really like solely focusing on one thing that you want to change. Maybe it's money. Maybe you just want to stop feeling like you're a broke person. Quit telling yourself that you won't be able to make money. Quit telling yourself that it's a bad economy. Maybe you just want to focus on one area. But day by day, little by little, you're going to start to notice improvements. And then it's just going to be this, you're going to be like, I've done it. Like, I don't even, my thoughts don't go there. Or I'm just like, I've actually achieved this. I'm making so much money. Like, why would I even worry about that now? You know? And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, is really like just repetition and overcoming any thought that you have day by day. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys, and let me know if you do put this in practice and how it goes for you, because I would love to hear back. Hope you're having a good one. Ta-ta. Bye.